Welcome to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Sal Di Stefano. All right, today we have a special guest for you, Palak Shah. She's a physical therapist we're now working with, and she's going to show you today some movements to help your shoulders, some common reasons why your shoulders may hurt when you do bench presses. All right, check it out.
A very common spot where you can have shoulder pain when doing bench presses is right here in the front of your shoulder. You don't know, should I continue my exercise? Should I drop it? Let's take a look at a couple of reasons of why that could be happening. One symptomatic reason is because your biceps tendon could be irritated. Why does it get irritated? Because the shoulder could be constantly putting pressure on the biceps when you're doing the exercise. How do you relieve that stress? It's by doing a few different corrective exercises that could be focusing on the back of your shoulder. So we're going to now look at two different exercises that help you improve the strength in the back of your shoulder so your biceps in the front doesn't keep getting too much load and pressure. If you don't want to lie on the floor in your gym, this is a great alternative. It also gives you a good support for your lower back, so a ball is a perfect spot to do this. You could also be doing this with TheraBands if you have them on hand, but this is very easy, low load, no weights, no bands, and very, very simple. So Sue, as you can see here, when you just hug a ball and feels really, really comfortable, your shoulders are fully rounded. So what we're going to start with is just helping you set up your posture for your upper body. So without arching your lower back, let's just have you come up a little bit here. That's it. And tuck your chin in so that you're not really looking upwards and stressing your neck. From here, let's have these rounded shoulder blades just come up over your chest and relax and set up. Let's bring your hands back. So now everything's like in a body alignment position. So you're not arching, you're not overworking your lower back. From here, let's have you have your pinky fingers point up and lift your arms up. Now, let's take a very quick look at this. So what we're seeing, and a common mistake we make, is when we're lifting our arms upwards, we end up having our shoulders kind of point down. So the goal is not to have just the arm tricep muscles work, but really to have this entire shoulder blade work to help strengthen the back of your shoulder. So while you have this, so let's just have you bring this up here. Now maintain this when you bring your arm down and up again. And there we go, we see a little bit less rounding, and that's exactly where that biceps gets irritated. So here's another movement that can help you with your shoulder pain in the front. We're talking about strengthening the back of your muscles in the back of your shoulder. So another very convenient thing, you can roll a TheraBand onto a doorknob or just hook it in your door and close the door closed. So it becomes a very convenient way to do this exercise. But a similar concept to doing shoulder extensions without really pushing your shoulder forward. So let's take a look at Sue doing this. Let's have you do the shoulder extension. And you always want to unlock your knee and relax your lower back so you're not overarching your back. And when you do this, let's take a look at how that shoulder stays rounded. We would squeeze your shoulder blade just a little bit so that the muscle work's coming from back here and not just tricep work. I would recommend you to do this for about 15 reps, but really listen to where you're feeling the muscles working versus feeling like you have to push back further. Pushing back further is not the goal. The goal is to have the right muscles working. The second most common position where your shoulder can hurt when you're bench pressing is the back of your shoulder, right around here. And you would be wondering, should I stop bench pressing? Well, the problem there is that there's too much lengthening in the posterior rotator cuff muscles that wrap around and attach in the front of our shoulder. So it's really, really key. We work those strengthening exercises to get the posterior rotator cuff muscles stronger. The posterior rotator cuff muscles really need to be at an advantage. So they're always combined with a good scapular positioning. So this is a very good exercise, a very simple exercise that helps you understand the posterior rotator cuff muscles when they're working and how they position the ball into the socket, which is our shoulder joint. So Sue, thanks for laying here in terms of a really good position, but a very common bad practice that I see from clients and patients is that they would either be arching their lower back way too much and just sitting there, or they might have their chin all the way up there if they have really heavy weights. So let's make sure that your ribs are rested on the floor, and your chin, if you need a little lift under your forehead and your head, I think that's a perfect way to set you up to not really use your neck and shoulder muscles incorrectly. So this is a simple press and reach exercise, so very similar to a bench press, but what we're going to really do is understand how the body works together when you're doing this. So Sue, let's just have you come down on the side horizontally, maintain your arms at 90 degrees, and then when you come up, let's make sure you keep that shoulder close to the floor. So let's have you come up and don't round your shoulders. That's perfect. From here, think that you're actually trying to get those dumbbells up to the ceiling, and then reset it back again, bring your shoulders down to the floor, and now bring your arms back down. So simple press and reach, and then come back down and here. This is not an exercise that causes a good burn. It's about actually improving your understanding and your recognition of how your shoulder joint fits into that socket. And that will help you when you're doing loaded activities with your bench presses. I would again recommend this to be done about 3 sets of 15 reps to improve your neuromuscular training. It's pretty simple. It's a great breather exercise between your sets and reps. So keep your breathing, maintain your chin tucked and your lower back. I think that is going to help you get the right muscles engaged. Another great exercise, which is actually a combination of 3 different exercises for the posterior shoulder pain, are called the T's, I's, and Y's. They focus on the different parts of the posterior rotator cuff, the anterior or the superior muscles, the middle portion, and the ones that work on the scapulothoracic area. So let's take a look at the I's first. Pretty simple. You want to try and maintain neutral body alignment. Let's have you lift your head up a little bit, Sue, and tuck your chin in. That's good. Now let's keep this throughout the exercise. Over here, we're just going to focus on setting your scapula, making sure your shoulders don't round when you lift your arms, and only lifting to the point where you're lifting with your shoulder blade area. So let's have you do a few reps here. 1, and that's good. 2, and then feel a squeeze when you come up. 3, 4, and 5. That's great. That was perfectly done, but could you tell a difference when you had the focus on not letting this portion round forward, right? We're going to follow a similar concept for the T's. The T's are literally the horizontal raise. So let's have you do those. And a really good thing to pick up here, which is a very common error, is our arms are usually lower than we think they are. So if you take a look at Sue's, let's have you bring your arms a little bit higher up, more horizontal, like a T. And when you lift, the focus is not about lifting the arm up, which can cause that posterior shoulder pain. Our goal is truly to get everything in the shoulder blade area to help you. So squeeze and lift, and only go to the point where you're not feeling that ball kind of push forward. And this is great. It usually helps to retrain the brain. So doing these for 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 15, till you know you can feel those posterior shoulder work, is a great place to start. If it gets easier, you feel like you have great form, there's no pain, let's add a little bit of load. Start with 3 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever you can do while you maintain the good posture. So we got the I's, we got the T's. The last one's the Y's. This is usually the hardest one because it requires a lot of muscle coordination in the shoulder. Again, really, really key that when we're lifting, and let's get your elbows straight, it's okay to have a broader Y. It can be a broader Y as compared to a very narrow Y. So let's start broader. Keep those shoulder blades squeezed. And you could be working the small range. If we notice, do we go all the way from down to up? Do we only work a particular range? I think we want to work in the end range where we're most comfortable, but we're usually the weakest. So we want to not necessarily always have to go all the way down and up. So you could start here and just work this range, and this one feels like a really good burn, all the T's, I's, and Y's. So you should be feeling all the work in the posterior shoulder and the scapular blade area. So great job, Sue. This was fantastic. T's, I's, and Y's.
I hope you found that valuable. Look, if those don't help you and you need extra help, you need a physical therapist, go to getluna.com. They actually send therapists to your house, and it's covered by insurance. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications.